I'll
All
join
right.
you.
I know. I don't
Right.
see any. It's, you know what? We're here. Okay, we're here. We are here. Y'all ain't gonna let me do a multitask. Y'all are like, focus, Electra, focus. This your talk, boo. Okay, I'm here. Ah. All right, wait, give me
All
one
right.
second. I was still trying to square something away, right? God dang. All right, give me one second, y'all, because I want to make sure that this can be a very impactful talk. First and foremost, while I'm rattling off, thank you so much just for being here and jumping on this talk and being open to the thoughts that we're going to share today. It did start off as discussing the gatekeepers, and it was an extremely powerful topic. It got a lot of response, a lot of feelings came out, a lot of questions, and I did notice that a lot of artists were responding on the deeper question about us being our own gatekeeper instead of what I was initially asking, which really had to do with the world. Okay. Like, where are some hindrances, some blocks, and all of this, right? Because I don't know every experience and every walk that everybody's having. I'm not supposed to, that's out of my pay grade. So I wanted to get an understanding of some roadblocks, but it did make me realize, oh yeah, I teach about confidence. Oh yeah, I remember that whenever I'm having a consultation with an artist, one of the greatest challenges that they had was even knowing what they want in the first place and why they even want it. And so they come with general answers or general questions, super general. And I'd always tell them that general questions will get general answers. And then you'll keep feeling very general and nothing hits. Nothing, not nothing, but there will be times where it doesn't, your production doesn't hit as deep and you don't know why. You've felt it before and you're trying to reference what did that look like? Like, how can I reach that state again? So it does hit. So it feels, a popular word, purposeful. You know what I'm saying? So I had to do some homework. I'm like, okay, all right. So I have to be honest with myself, and I'm going to be honest with y'all. Of course, all day, every day. So my personal consultation services are now open to other industries officially because I personally can't take it. I can't. The same advice that I'd be telling y'all, especially about being a multi-medium or multimedia, we all use different verbiage, but being that kind of artist, it's for me to limit these talks to just visual artists doesn't even feel right. Like it just doesn't. And I've talked to so many people over the years and they've had life-changing experiences and I have too. So I desire to keep doing that. So I want y'all to know that like the conversations that we're having, it's open for creatives, period. Anyone who even deems themselves as a creative in their industry, that's who I'm talking to. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just keeping it real. RTA is still a wave. It will always be a wave. I'm still with it. But as far as my one-on-ones with folks, the buck doesn't stop with the artist. And y'all know that. Y'all know that. Your life doesn't stop at being an artist either. Like, let's just keep it real, right? So there's that. It's very important for me to share. And I'm super excited about it because y'all, I've been giving consultations to everybody anyway. And then I'm like, you know what? I just want to talk to people and learn from them and just do that thing that just comes so effortless for me, just like y'all. When y'all want to paint frogs and then you want to, you know, discover ceramics the next day. That's what you want, that freedom and flexibility and being contained, the moments that it feels contained and restricted, it's not natural because it's not. It doesn't feel natural because it's not. So I wanted to give that quick introduction. I'm just so excited that y'all are here today because the right words are going to come out at the right time, and we're going to understand that we're already game changers. But we got to stop playing the petty games, right? Like the petty games. So if you are taking any notes, I'm going to encourage you to write this down as I'm writing it down with you. The main focus of our conversation, and I feel very confident to say this, what feels right for future conversations, the main focus is learning how to make decisions confidently and take 100% responsibility. So I'm writing that down right now. Learning how to, I'm switching it around. It's the same point. Learning how to take 100% accountability for our decisions. And I'm adding on how to be confident. So everything that, and shout out to y'all who submitted questions, because at the core of the question is the idea that you don't already have the answer. All right. Some of y'all might need to write that down too. At the core of your question, it's the idea that you don't have the answer. Okay. So that's the next thing. At the core of every single question is, quote, I don't know. And I love my friends who are artists, and I love my clients who are also friends who are also artists, right? I love when they get to a point, they're so frustrated in our conversations because they have this deep desire for Electra to tell them what to do. And I said, no, I'm not going to tell you nothing because you already, exactly, Zero Bay, you laugh, right? You already know. Don't give me that. I don't walk in your shoes. Don't tell me that. And I love them so much, I will not have them believe that Electra holds any power over them. Because if you think Electra knows something, you will always rely on someone else to tell you. But that, some of y'all got, like, I'm about to bring sure the devil is a lie, right? That's a lie, y'all. You know, like you know. It's the hesitation that causes tension within us. And then we think, because we're so trained, we think that, and we've normalized that tension. We've normalized it. And so that's where we end up asking general questions. We want general questions so we can get general answers. So we keep living a very general life. And y'all know, like you know, some ain't right about that. And that's why I had to
Well,
like
when you
really,
said,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just
About it.
add on a general life. I equate that. I love
Mhm.
words, so that means mediocrity. General questions allow
Uh-huh.
mediocrity
Correct.
because general questions do not challenge an
Mm.
individual to go beyond whatever they're seeking to achieve.
That's right.
So I like I say mediocrity. So we have to say no to mediocrity.
Yes.
And by saying no to mediocrity, asking the harder questions, perhaps. Or,
That's
I
it.
mean, consultation means how do I get to the harder question? What is the deeper motivation?
Yeah. That's where
And
the
that's what
ahas
creative.
come from. That's thank you. Thank you, Zero Bay. And I want to encourage y'all to jump on in, right? Like this is an interactive conversation. And before we do that, because I am very brand new to trying to like pin a comment, like I'm trying to figure out what's the equivalent of that. I'm going to go to the chat and I'm going to put, yeah, okay, there we go. Oh, I don't, okay, I am Electra. So this is my site. I want to just put it here. So or what I was trying to figure out earlier is that the site isn't published. Okay. And so I need to just go in there and like hit publish. I didn't realize that. So I am Electra.com. It's super simple. It's not anything complicated because I don't want to deal with anything complicated. I am Electra. This is my consultation link here. And I say consultation not for setting up an appointment, not doing that, right? There's two things that you can do after we've had this conversation. You can either send me a message of whatever you pulled from this conversation, or you can give me a tip. Completely up to you. All I ask is that you follow through with something. And I am very grateful. Hear me. I am very grateful for anything that you provide that helps me grow. You saying thank you, you saying, yo, I got that one thing, yo, that helps me. It's not, for some of y'all, you may not have words, and that's why you have the option to give me a tip of any amount. That doesn't bother me. It's the giving. And it fuels me to keep doing this too, right? So I'm just letting y'all know I am Electra.com. It's one little paragraph, 2 buttons, call it a day. And that's different from RTA. This is for me. This is for my soul and fulfillment. I am a manifestation of a conversation you've been wanting to have, and you are a part of a manifestation of conversation I've been wanting to have. That's important that you know that. So anyway, there's that. If y'all want to share any comments like Zero Bay just did right here, like with your IG, do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, sounds good to me. Y'all should, reach out, be in touch with either each other or just in general, connect with folks. All right. So there's my heads up. And again, if you have something to say, go ahead and speak because, it's a flow. This is a flow conversation. So now I am going to reference the questions that y'all asked, and we're going to start off with that. If y'all have anything right now, that's fine too, but I'm just going to pull it on up. Okay. Y'all, this is my subject. I've been talking all morning. Let me say that right now. Shout out to the teachers that had a whole problem with me talking, and I got in trouble all the time. Trust and believe. My parents can vouch for that, right? Electra wouldn't be quiet in class today. Yeah, I know, because I always wanted to talk, right? All right, here we go. First question is, what are some challenges that artists face in visual arts? In your definition, what is visual arts? Okay. Perfect question. So let's look at the beginning of that. Let's look at the beginning of that one because
That
there's
was
two
actually mine.
questions. Hmm?
That was actually my question. I'm gonna just
Yes.
put it out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not reading, who submitted it, just respectfully. So yeah, if you want to share that it was yours, cool. So Derek asked, the first part of that question we're going to look at, what are some challenges that artists face in visual arts? So let's look at that. Are you facing a challenge right now?
It's more so for me, trying to like get, I guess like
Mm-hmm.
get revenue from my actual artwork because, I'm slowly starting to, like, I'm a photographer. So
Right?
I've been doing photography for about a couple of years, but then in the
Respect.
last year or two, thank you. Last year or two, I've been getting more confidence in my work. I've been putting out more
Good.
work and, I just been trying to get to a space where I'm trying to grow
Yes.
and grow more and keep growing and keep learning. And, and I noticed that, some people, or even me, as an artist, we all go through, different things like whether professional, personally.
Right.
And, sometimes, it's hard to like follow a trend because there's always trends in this world, even with music,
Mm.
like, you gotta follow a certain trend, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. But then sometimes it's hard to be yourself. But I had to remember that being yourself is that's the key. And that's the best love that you can give it to yourself and just be
Come
you and be
on.
who you are.
Come on. All right. Now, hold on. That hit me when you said that about being yourself. And I'm going to speak what's coming to me. Your challenge right now is being yourself. And you've equated these words here to be very general about something you already know. You know that. You already know that. All right. Y'all see. All right. Now it's about to be fire. Okay. Now that's the first part. You're having a challenge with just being yourself, authentically you, whatever that looks like. Right. We're not going to go into that just yet. Now, the next part is in your definition, what is visual arts? So have you had some, I guess, maybe question from someone else of what you do and whether it's considered visual arts? Like, why are you asking that question?
I asked that because I never heard the term visual arts
Yeah,
because
okay.
it was just something new. I was like, well, I do photography. Is photography visual arts? But
Yeah,
photography is art, you know.
absolutely.
I just want to ask somebody like, that's in the art industry, like what is their definition of visual arts or what is it? Because I never heard the term before.
Yes, photography is visual arts.
Okay.
Absolutely. So now, how can
Yeah,
we answer this
visual.
question? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to
Oh, yeah.
expand on that. Visual arts, it's like art is a tree. And on that tree, there are various limbs and various branches. On that visual arts or on that art tree, there's photography, there's painting, there's sculpture, there's ceramics, there's jewelry making, there's
Mm-hmm.
craft, there's weaving, there's rug making. And so where one finds oneself on that tree, let's say, is the total visual arts. Does that help, Derek?
It does. Yeah. Thank
Ooh,
you.
ooh, I told y'all this was gonna be fire, and I told y'all I'm gonna keep saying the same stuff
Thanks, man.
because I am not your teacher, right? And we could do the mental jujitsu all day, every day, but I have learned that y'all are teaching me too, like over the years, life, period. And when I lean into that, and I know that, like I know that, I always pull a gem. See, y'all, this is why I get wired up because y'all have your own unique superpower, if you will. I don't live your life. I haven't seen everything and experienced you I wasn't supposed to. But what Zero Bay just shared right there is something that really hit when you said that about the tree. I know you didn't expect to get on this call and be the teacher. You the teacher. So it's expression.
Nah.
It's
Right, there you
expression.
go.
And so a level deeper than just art is at least what resonated with me is that all forms of expression are on the tree. We all are expressing different things in different ways, uniquely. Every industry, it's something that comes out of us. The and I'm really into words, so I'm a word geek. Don't ask a bunch of questions after this. Okay, but the etymology of the word expression is linked to press out. That's what it originally to press out. Come on. I'm just saying.
That's
And
like
so we
water.
have what?
It's like the motif they display in artwork, like when they're explaining the process of how to take water,
Mm,
turn it into wine. You know what I mean? It's basically the condensing of the collection of skills that you've acquired
yeah,
through your this. You know what I'm
come
saying? So
on.
yeah, that's why. Yeah.
Yes. Right. And this is
That's,
why I'm branching
that's right.
out of just the visual arts because this message artists have been telling me this forever anyway, like yo, you need to just talk to everybody at this point, right? Because I'm learning from y'all and y'all are
Huh.
learning from me too. That's good. So it's the desire to express, right? So I'm going to link back here to we're going further into your question. We're going into all right, you might start perspiring at this point. I'm telling you, because this is what I've called, and I like I said, I just had a conversation with someone this morning too. Like this is the shedding of something you've been wearing on you for so long that we're going to look at right now. Okay. And so that can be a little bit scary, but scary just can really, we can just look at that as change. And so leaning into the understanding that we are meant to change and grow, just focus on that. You know what I'm saying? Focus on that and shed it, release it, let it go, whatever the verbiage that you want to reference. So, what are some of the challenges that you're facing as far as being authentic? What does that mean to you? What does authentic mean to you?
To me, it means
Or yourself. I'm sorry, I said authentic, but you said being yourself. So what does
right.
being yourself or authentic or true, like what does that mean to you?
It just means just it's so general, but I think
It's okay.
with
We're
me,
just warming it up. Go ahead.
uh-huh. I think it's just like, being I think just the things that you enjoy or what you like, or like things that that makes you happy, or things that make
Okay.
you like things that you're interested in, you know.
That's good. Just right there, right there. You don't need to, this is the thing, y'all. This is the game. This is the game that occurs is that I'm going to say this, but I'm going to add a bunch of things. We're going to just no, and I say that with love and respect, right? We're going to pause right there. Doing the things that you enjoy. Okay. When we're doing the things that we enjoy, it puts us into that state of being true and honest to ourselves. It's when you add the but after that, I would do it, but, right? I can't tell y'all, I've had so many conversations, and that but is a curb. It's like a whole, y'all know when that was like a trendy thing when you like, I don't know if y'all know Jamie Foxx and all that too, but he does thing, he like puts his hand, puts his hand in someone's face, like that's that you're doing that to yourself. Right. I would do it, and that is a restriction, and it causes tension within you, and it causes stress, and it's subtle, but then you get very familiar with it. You get used to it. And so you don't even verbally express the things you want anymore. You just have the thought. And we normalize that. I'm a firm believer that it's important to live to let my come on now. It's important for me to mirror my thoughts in this world. That's why I talk so much, because that's real energy. It's catch this. It's the inhaling. Go ahead. Go ahead, Zero. Say it. Wait, were you about to say something?
I had a
Oh,
question. I wanted to ask you. Yeah, I want to ask you. The question is, where do you think the tension is though
okay.
between doing what one loves versus or but
Where's
and what is the tension? I mean, am I weighing myself against someone else's idea? Is the industry telling me I need to have this kind of painting or
okay.
photograph or
Mm-hmm.
I
I got you.
yeah.
I got you.
Can you expand on?
I just put the note in my phone here, and I'm going to
Yeah,
respond as we continue here. Okay. Um,
yeah.
but oh Lord, what was I talking about? Oh, this is hilarious. I left off saying
Yeah, we
something.
just kind of like just trying to add on to Derek's question, like because if I want to
Right.
do what I love and then I
Okay.
feel like
Yes, that enjoyment.
the
Right. So,
tension,
okay, I got you
yeah,
now. And it's the linking of the point of tension, and then we normalize that tension. And I was also adding about that's why I talk so much, because, and that's why I say you've got to catch this part. When we speak, we've normalized, and I say we because this is a collective, right? We're all here, right? We've normalized, or excuse me, we've downplayed the power of our breathing. Hold on. When we inhale, we're taking in breath. When we speak, we're literally transforming our air into words. That's real energy. That's real. That's why we feel tension inside. We want to say something to someone, but we don't. It's the breath. It's you're supposed to say it. And then it gets even more tense when we are not sure how we're going to say it. We're now it's stuck. The thought is stuck. It creates physical manifestation in our heads as stress, and then in our body. So how do you identify it? Wait, let me see. Is that what okay? Where is the tension between okay, doing what you love, and then please add on to what that question? I couldn't type it fast enough. But that was my bookmark, Zero Bay.
Oh, um,
The tension
yeah,
between.
okay. Between what I love versus the question is a blank. I don't know. Fill in the blank. Anybody can
Okay.
fill in the blank.
Maybe how
I
can
think you
you
mean like
define?
versus.
Hmm?
Oh, I think he was trying to say like doing what you love versus what other people want you to do.
Okay, so I'm going to
There you
rewind.
go.
That's
Exactly.
why,
Thank you.
yes,
Right
we're
on.
going to rewind. There, all right. Whew, this is going to be a lot, y'all. It's going to be a lot. Brace yourself. Because what you just said, Derek, verses. There is no verses. There's no verses.
There is no
As
verses.
long as you play, all right, let me, and I say this everything with love here. Learning how to take 100% accountability for our decisions, how to be confident. The core of the question is, I don't know. When you take your thoughts and you say, I can't do this because you are releasing the power you already have. You know that you can. You've created a block now. That's why you don't do what you want to do, because you've created a block. You created it. You ever talk to someone and tell them, you know what, I remember back in so-and-so day, I was going to do this or I was going to do that, but I was thinking that you probably would respond or react this way and I didn't tell you. And then they're like, why would you think that? Good question. Why would you think that? And it's some, there's so much more to say about this, but there's a particular mindset that you don't know what you want. And every time you reaffirm that you don't know what you want, you will continue to not know. But the reason why you don't know is because you have the idea that what you want is something outside of you. But Derek, as you answered, and in your words, you know you want enjoyment. You know you want to do what you love. Nothing outside of you answered that. You did. So when they say the cliches of like, do what you love, it's not just limited to art. And I noticed that as a common pattern when I'm consulting artists, the problems they have never is just about art. And I'm like, why is that? So I had to do my own research, like on me, like, why do I keep seeing that? Why do I keep seeing that? Right. So you already know what you want. So what I will encourage you to do, Derek, is to be for real about what you want and do not add on whatever story. Like, you know what? Like, here's a good one. I'll just use this one. And this is my life, right? I would, I would ride my bike, but I'm just saying, like, my bicycle is kind of rough right now. Okay, well then I actually don't want to ride one right now. It was a good thought, but I'm taking ownership. Like, it's not about my bike, is that I actually don't want to ride. You have to know what it is that you want. And I didn't do it. You determined the core reason why you're like, okay, how can I be more authentic? How can I be more true to myself? Do those things that you enjoy. Don't reference the past. That's a story. Don't reference what might happen. You need to just start. And y'all, this is the cliche stuff we hear, y'all, but it's facts. Start. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overcomplicate and lean on these blames. Again, we're separate, right? The thing that I want is out there somewhere. It's not. You know what you want. You were designed to know. You were designed to know. Favorite part of one of my favorite parts of superhero movies is when the superhero is like a normal person and then they find out that they actually have like superpowers and then they don't know what to do with it. They're like, oh, I can do this, I can do that, right? But then they keep refining it and refining it and refining it, and they now know they don't have to just do random stuff. They are intentional now. But the plot twist here is that y'all are more like Superman. You were born with it. You did. It's not like you just got it. It's not like you were in a chemist lab and something blew up, and you're like, oh, now you got it, right? Like, you literally have the power to be true to yourself 100%. And that's hard for some because they actually don't believe it. You know exactly what you want. You know. Oh, you know what? I kind of have a taste for Jamaican food right now. Okay, we'll go get it. Oh, well, I don't actually feel like going anywhere. Okay, then don't go. And then someone's like, can you go get something for me? I actually don't feel like doing it. Oh, well, if someone else is involved, now you have to compromise and find the place of satisfaction between both of you so you can keep moving forward. So, of course, I'm going to go through more questions. I have about six more questions. Of course, there's going to be questions along the way here. But whenever you like, okay, so some artists will, they'll give me some general, like, how can I get my work in a hotel? Y'all know, like, hey, this is why I was designed this way. I go to a hotel. That's what I would do. I'm not going to search the internet. I want to go to a hotel. Oh, my work, well, it doesn't have to be in a hotel. Okay, well, then what do you want? See, this is what do you really want here, right? If you just want your art up on a wall, put it on the wall right now. You have to get that experience. Y'all see what I'm saying? Like I want to see my art put it on the wall right now at home. You're in the experience. You need that. You need to see it. When you put your work on the wall, you're like, actually, ooh, I think I'll just, it was too much work to put it up. I think I'm just going to create pieces that people can lean against the wall. But you wouldn't have known that if you didn't carry out the action. Or like, oh, I want my work in hotels. Then you start going to hotels. You're like, okay, this is too labor intensive. Like, I don't think I'm ready for this. So then you hit the internet, like you have to, that you taking action is part of finding out what the core desire is too. It doesn't just stay in your head. You have to follow through. And then that'll lead you and keep leading you in the flow state because you're moving. And that's another level deeper, but I honestly believe we're not meant, not even physically, we're not meant to be stagnant. Your body is designed to constantly be in motion, constantly. Your brain, you should be thinking. You should. There's a place that you reach where you're not thinking, and that's enjoyment. That's why it feels so good, because your whole body is involved. All of your energy is involved. That is the state of enjoyment, the place of no thought. And that's why it feels so good. Love, and, like people use a lot of different words, right? It's blissful. It's when time is forgotten. That's the place you're trying to get to again. Because that's like the natural part of you, I believe. That's me. Okay. So, oh Lord, I'm exhausted.
You
I
know,
need
something
water.
that's
Somebody
right.
intervene.
Uh, you ever seen the movie The Last Dragon with Bruce Lee?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
them saying there's no master, like I'm no longer your master. Then they reinforce it again by saying like there ain't no slaves here, dude, ain't no masters either. And then
Yeah.
when he the glow, which is exactly the point you're talking about, the point of no thought is the glow.
Yes. Yes.
Dude
Mm,
went to and he caught the fish, he was laughing, he was cracking up laughing. If you see it again, you know what I mean? And
I'm writing it down.
all his different forms, you know what I mean? And
Mm.
basically, I mean, he glitched through it like
See?
Neo. But anyway,
That's hitting, because that's a great example. And that's where we're trying to get to. Excuse me, let me rephrase that. That's what we love. That's the enjoyment. And then we don't have to go anywhere to get that, you know? So and how do you access that more often? Literally, I know it's like mind shift here. It does rock you a bit, okay? But being truthful and honest with ourselves, not saying someone else made me, or how this is what I've experienced. And I know I have some friends that still think this way, the I would, but, right? Or if they cancel something and it's like, oh, they'll come up with other verbiage instead of just owning that I am not able to make it today, and leave it at that. Like, I'm not able to make it, but it's just like, I got you for the first few words and we're good, you know, and like, we're good. It's okay for you to not want to come. I don't need an explanation. But they've experienced that before where they're like, I have to give more to justify that I'm canceled. Life happens, things happen. Like it's all good. And also going back to Zero Bay, what he was saying about the tension, you know it. You feel it. You feel it in your right here in your chest, because that's happened to me before. Or the dialogue will come up like I should have done da 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 da. Or I shouldn't have done that.
That's true.
Like, you know, I've gone off on people before, like completely off. Like, I love y'all, but the coolest thing about y'all is that y'all did not know me when I would cut somebody out. Like I would be like, no. The healthy thing is that I wasn't going to contain it. That's the healthy part, right? However, the way it came out, I was so stressed. I reached a point, and I was having a conversation with a friend about this. You don't want to, everyone has a threshold, but everyone already knows what they want and don't want very early. Very early. It's the containing of it that leads to the outbursts. The cork has now been popped. And if we haven't been there, then we know someone who has, or we've perceived them like, whoa, they went off the deep end. I mean, they already knew they didn't like it when they were talked to that way. As an artist, you already knew that you didn't like when you took the paintbrush and you try to make that acrylic work. You didn't like it, but now you're like, but you've seen it trend. And you think, I want mine to trend too. So I'm going to put the paintbrush down, boo. Like, you know, you do not want to fool with that thing. Like, and I'm talking about my own experience here. I like for stuff to move and flow. That's why I like watercolor ink. I don't have to make a shape out of it. I just like to just watch it move on the canvas. Like, you don't have to. And even when I'm coaching artists one-on-one, and I tell them that it's healthy to know why they did something, like why they created it, why they painted it. And they're like, well, I mean, I don't know. Oh, wait. They say, I don't know, but oh, see, here's the but thing. So it's like, now I don't know, but I just like it. I told them then own it. Then just own that you just like doing that or using that particular medium. It doesn't have to be some big old scholarly reason. Like, just I like it. I like the colors. I like the surface. And yes, my surface will change tomorrow. And I hope y'all are ready. It's the level of confidence. You know what I'm saying? It's not just about the work you're producing. How sure are you that you did this? 100% ownership. I did this because I wanted to do it. I don't need to
Being you.
apologize. I don't need to explain. I'm sorry?
I was just saying, being you. That's, you know,
Correct.
yeah.
But you have to own that 100%. That's why I have artists who are full-fledged, all into their career, like some of y'all, right? They're full-fledged all into their career. And I'm thinking of one right now who had over, I think he had like 60,000 followers. Like, these artists be talking about, I want these followers, I want what number? Why is it so important, you know? But this one artist, 60,000 plus followers, got a great number of engagement, but he wasn't making sales. And I had to talk to him about, of course, you know, he was a client, because it wasn't just the sales. It's the deeper part of that is that he actually didn't know what he wanted. And so now we're gonna claim it's sales and say, well, boom, I'm not getting sales, yo. Like, so we had to do some homework on that, and that's okay. We should be asking questions. So why did I do that? So here's a scenario. I'm going to go to the next question in a minute here, but I'm going to go ahead and say this first, and I'm going to write it down as a bookmark as we go forward, and as I continue to answer questions and be open to whatever, you know, y'all have to say, or your comments and things like that. Okay. It's something that I call, and everyone calls it whatever they want to call it, is your wisdom. It's the inner wisdom that you already have. You already have. That's all we're focusing on right now, is that you have the answers, capital A, you have the wisdom, capital W. It's a way of emphasizing that word, which is why I'm saying capital, right? We're going to emphasize that of which is already in us. Okay. You ever talk to someone who came up to you for some advice and you gave them a whole gem and a half? It hit so hard that you're like, damn, I need to take my own advice, right? You're like, yo, that was really good. It shocked you, right? It shocked you. That is the wisdom that you can access at any time. Anytime. What happened here with Derek? You answered your own question, the deeper aspect of the question. How did you do that? So you can continue to answer your own question. You trusted me, right? I look like someone you can trust. Trust yourself. Okay. There's more. I look like I'm outside of you, and I've presented everything as a trusted figure. You are the trusted figure. Okay. But Electra, here's the best part, didn't answer your question to where it pivot in you. You did. And you did that by expressing yourself. You talked it out. And you realize that you are, come on, Brother Mars, you are the student and you are the teacher. Rolled up in this Derek burrito. You have the answers. You got it already. So, how do we get that? Again, just have an inner conversation. There aren't two voices. There's only one. There's only one. And we do it all the time. We think we're having two thoughts. No, we're not. We're not. We're not. I'll give you an example. So there's this guy. There's this guy, and he's my guy friend. And he wanted us to meet up. I had appointments. It would have been a little too close for us to be able to meet up. And I didn't want to see him, but so I'm thinking, I don't want to see him, but maybe I'll text him and say something came up. Oh, wait a minute. That's not true. Oh, okay. All right. Right? This is how we think. Okay. All right. How can we do this in the most respectful fashion? Because I already figured out that I don't want to see him. There's no need to try to force anything. This is where the heart starts beating quicker, adrenaline, because you're now defending yourself from something that doesn't even exist. I'm creating some defense. I need to defend. I need to defend my thought. I need to defend my position. From what? That defense is the idea that you're about to be attacked from something outside of you. No, I'm not being attacked by anything. There's nothing happening. It's all up here. So then I was like, So then I text him. I'm like, you know what? Let's put a pause on today. Let's put a pause on today. Make sure you have a safe trip when you're going home. Da, 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 da. I owned it. I'm okay with, I don't need to because I have an appointment and it might be pushed. That's a bunch of fluff. Because I'm trying to protect myself, because I don't want him to not like me. Oh my God. Who said that? You know what he responded with? Cool. Cool. But this is what I'm saying. I knew the answer already, and I'm creating the tension. Y'all, it's when you are so much more authentic to what you want to do, and plus you take ownership for that. That's reinforcing your confidence. That's when you become wiser and wiser and wiser and wiser, because you know that you're literally taking your own advice. When I'm talking to y'all, I'm talking to myself. I know that. Because I can't take my thought and insert it in your hard drive. That's impossible. But what I can do is hear what I'm saying. it can be, look, when I resigned, I don't know why this is coming out. When I resigned from my job where I worked 18 and a half years, I was making 6 figures as a professional certified instructor. And I was this celebrity in the government. I was on magazine covers. I was like the golden child, the youngest instructor ever in the history of the government in the commissary. I had all kinds of stars and stripes, y'all. And I walked away during COVID. Like 6 figures at home, chilling. And when I
Mm.
when I when I put in my 2 week notice, you think it was easy for me to wrap my mind around? I reached a place where I knew, like I knew that it was time. And that was the realest that I'd ever been with with the agency. I was just telling my friend about this. I was 17 when I started. Summer hire. And
Wow.
it was look, we're continuing with summer hire. It was my first week working. I will never forget. I walked up to the building and I said, in my head, I can't wait till I never have to come back here again. I already knew what I wanted. That doesn't mean that I didn't learn nothing. You just hear me. I got my certification from there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love my job. When I left, I still love my job, but I couldn't understand why I was leaving. I wasn't being authentic to myself. And we know it early. We know it early. All right, y'all. Y'all got me on the roll. All right, so let's go to the next question. The next question, Lord, and please insert if y'all got some. So the next question is, actually, it's the next one is a comment. So this artist says, my point of view, in many instances, the main gatekeeper is the artist. We at times gatekeep ourselves by not allowing ourselves to be seen or heard through our art. And I love how, I love how that comment was submitted, because it's adding on, or let's focus on what she really communicated here. We at times gatekeep ourselves by not allowing ourselves to be seen or heard. This is outside of art, because you're a person at the end of the day, start and middle of the day, right? There are times that your confidence is, or you may say to yourself, my confidence is being downplayed because I'm not being seen or heard. You know the pockets of your life where you do need to be seen, and you know the pockets of your life where you do need to be heard. You need to speak. You need to speak to somebody who has done such and such. You need to be seen in this way. That's why some artists will be like, oh my God, like, I'm not on social media and I feel so bad. I'm not showing my face. It's important that you ask yourself, do you want to show your face? If you don't, you have to own up to it. Don't say, I don't show my face because it's, people get so much more likes that way. If you don't want to show your face, you have to own that. There are plenty of famous, well-known artists where we haven't seen their face. Like, it's okay. Like, that tension is created when you're trying to force yourself to do something that you don't want to do. Be honest and take what is it? The very first note, 100% accountability, 100. So the artist, for example, that does not want people to look at them, or like they don't want to put their picture up on the internet, the tension is created. It starts in the mind. It starts in the mind. And then it's in your brain. You do the research. I encourage everybody to do their own research, but the information that I found, your mind is your brain, physical brain is linked. It is the headquarters of your entire nervous system. It communicates with every single part of your body. That's how you're able to feel that, squeeze the tip of your pinky. That's your brain, right? It's sent, it's a message to your brain, and it pumps. It signals for your heart to pump. So it starts here, the tension, the voice that automatically says, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And every time that you force your body to do something that you don't want to do, you're creating stagnation within yourself. That's biology. Like I didn't write the rules. You're creating the tension. So if you don't want to be seen, take ownership for that. You want to be seen, go be seen. Like, look at my page. It's plenty of me, right? Like, I don't mind. I don't mind connecting with people. I don't mind being on camera. You can ask my parents. I was looking for a camera very early. Okay. Like, I want to be seen. But the cool thing is, I don't have to be seen by everybody and their brother. I'm going to cross paths with the people who I should be connecting with. Like, the random internet world isn't going to like flood my inbox. It's not set up like that. It's not like once you put a picture out there, oh, everyone's coming your way. Have you seen some of the followings out here, y'all? Everyone's not going to bombard you. It's going to be the right people, you know? So yes, taking ownership for that. And here's another one. Or being heard, right? Seen or being heard. Whether you're speaking to someone or you don't want to talk to them, or whether someone's talking or communicating to you and you don't want to communicate or you don't want to hear them, you have the choice. I'll take the simplest thing. You're listening to something on the radio and it actually reminds you, you don't want to hear it, but then you reference a time where someone said, you should appreciate this kind of music. So you sit there and listen to it because you think about what they told you. Come on, switch it. This is reinforcing the confidence. You make the decision, not the past, not the future, not all of these stories. Make the decision right now. Or, I don't feel like cooking today. Oh, but you remembered that conversation you had with someone who said that, like say you don't feel like cooking for someone. I'm just pulling something up, right? You don't feel like cooking for someone today. And you're like, I don't actually feel like cooking for someone. And then you remember at another time that individual said, if you love me, you would cook for me. So you reference that time instead of asking that individual now. It's the blame. You're now referencing something outside of yourself for the reason why you're making this decision. We're not playing that game. This is why people doubt themselves so much, because they keep believing the answer is somewhere outside of, you don't feel like cooking, then communicate to that person, hey, I don't really feel like cooking today. And it might be the same response that I got from the text. Cool. And you're like, why was I doing that? Okay, next question. What is defined by art in the digital market? What industry actually encompasses the definition of art? Who are these entities whom classify what genre an art piece is categorized? All right, so this one needs some breaking down. What is defined by art in the digital market? I really don't know. What is defined? I'm not even sure. I'm being very honest. I'm not even sure what the real question is here. What is defined by art in the digital market? Digital art. I mean, I'm not sure. Does anyone else have any way of refining that question? What is defined by art in the digital market?
Going back to that question,
Digital.
I've heard of something called NFTs.
Sure. Yes.
That's
Yeah,
exactly.
But this is
yeah.
very general, where it's like the digital market. I don't even know what that, I'm just being honest. I don't know what that means.
Would that just be like
Maybe that's
just digital art in a sense?
Yeah, that's why I said digital art. I'm not sure what else to add to that. Anything that's digital. I mean, what graphic design, we could call
Yeah.
it all kinds of stuff, but if it's not tangible with the physical body, then I would say that fits digital art in the digital market. Okay, so what industry actually encompasses the definition of art? None. There's no industry that encompasses that. Art is, I mean, someone can look it up to, if you'd like to, but art is simply your
What up?
unique expression, I feel. And so that can come out in a lot of different ways. I take the combination, air quotes, of my background, which isn't combining anything. I take my history and I express it in this way. You know, I had a platform when I was in the government. I have a platform now. I used to manage. I'm managing now. You know what I'm saying? So it's I personally don't believe that there's any one industry that encompasses the definition of art. I don't. Who are these entities whom classify what genre an art piece is categorized? I feel like that just depends on the facility. You know, I mean, you don't, every establishment, business, gallery, they're the ones that there's an individual behind that decides how to classify and or put art piece in a genre of some sort. And you know, so it all depends on the facility themselves. And this is an example of a question that is, it's very like this, you know what I'm saying? And those are the kind of questions that I've received before, where it's like, well, we really need to get down to the heart of what that individual is really asking. And based on what I'm looking at right now, they're not on this call, but if they're watching this video, I would, I'm open if you want to give me a little more details with that one, and we can debunk it. All right, so the next question is, what is the best way to get your artwork featured in major media or speaking engagements? Okay, so I told y'all, especially if it was me, all right, if it was me, I just start doing it. I just start doing it. So the deeper question here, or how to refine the question, what is the best way? What is your best way? That's the first part. What's easy for you? What feels smooth? What feels easy? What feels effortless? What feels quick? Like those are things that make me excited, right? Like if I wanted Chinese food and somebody said, "Oh, I just brought some home." I like it. Sign me up. I like smooth, quick, and easy. And that, because that puts me in that state of enjoyment. I'm so happy. It was fast. It was easy. It was simple. So how do you determine what is the best? What's the best for you? That's where we start. What is the best way for you to get your art? Here we go. Featured in major media. What is major to you? What's major? I don't know what major is. And what does major media mean? Is that, you know, maybe a viral post perhaps on social media? Is it a magazine? Is it a digital magazine? Like and then after specifying that, like, let's just say you have something in mind, like, let's just say, oh, you know, I want it featured on the RTA page. Great. So now you have a landing point here, you have a destination, and now you can start working towards that destination. I would encourage you to keep going with those questions for yourself, because I'm not having a discussion about how to relinquish your power and have Electra be, you know, she's got all the wisdom. I'm encouraging you to ask yourself that question, and you have to ask, why am I asking that? Okay, what is the best way? What's the best way for you? You already know. Well, you know, I'm not trying to do 1, 2, and 3. Oh, you've determined what you don't want to do. That's good, because that refines what you want to do, right? So the opposite is what you actually want to do. I feel that we innately know what we want. And even when you say you don't want something, then you're saying you want something else. You know what it is, right? So just keep asking that. What's going to feel right to me? What is going to be enjoyable to me? Period. And then that major media part, we gotta refine what that means. We gotta refine what that means. And I'm going to take a little leap with this one. Is it the artwork? Here we go. Is it the artwork that needs to be seen, or is it the individual? That's for them to answer. Do you feel like you need to get out? You need to be seen in some form or some capacity. You need to, but you're giving, see, but you're giving a story. You're giving a story, or you're so used to referencing a painful experience that you'll keep referencing that painful experience by any means possible. Please give me that same experience. No, I'm not going to do it, right? You need to get out there and you need to decide in what way. You need to show yourself in some capacity. Maybe you need to start seeing some people. Get out there, connect with people. I don't know if they'd want to connect with someone like me. You're right. You don't. That's the best part. You don't know until you start walking to the door, getting in your car, going to the museum, going to an event. You're never going to know. And if you don't start taking 100% ownership for your decisions, then you're going to stay on what I call the roundabout. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? A roundabout, excuse me. When you're driving, does anyone know what that is?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Right. You're roundabout. When I first moved to New York, I was in my 20s. I had never seen a roundabout in my life. And a roundabout is a little circle, and it has several exits to take, right? And so it scared everything out of me because I didn't expect it. And this is before the GPS days. So all I had was printed directions, right? So I was driving this big white van because I just accepted a new job. And so they let me borrow the store van to drive around in. But I came across a roundabout. I was like, what is happening? I didn't know where to go. I stayed in the roundabout, y'all.
Oh my
Probably for like
goodness.
3 minutes because I couldn't figure out what was happening. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. That's what happens when you are used to staying in the roundabout. Your natural state is to exit. That's why people don't understand the creative, because the creative is always exiting. The creative ain't trying to do nothing they did yesterday. Like, because that's boring, which means stagnation.
Yep.
That's why there's always that one artist in the family, right?
Yep.
Like the one that doesn't comply to the norm, which is the roundabout. So we're not going to comply with the norm in our decisions. You can't. And that's why the artist creates, they're in that flow, they splatter the paint or they take the photo and they're like all vibes. And then they're like, but I can't sell this. Why? You're referencing an experience of business that you didn't like and you didn't agree with, and you're trying to insert that in your current state. That's a lie. You can do whatever you want with your business. I want to accept money really easy and smooth. Set it up that way. Make it easy. Make it easy. That is more enjoyable when you receive a payment. It's like, oh, cool. Easy. Oh, so I don't have to set up my business the way I've seen other people set up their business where it's really complicated because now I'm creating complication in my head. Yeah, correct. You can create that. You already have your life experiences and you're thinking, this is what happens. You're thinking the flow of the paint or the ease of the photography is supposed to work the same way when it comes to receiving payments or having a website. Or no, you set up your business with as much ease as you do, and you use that ease from the painting, the photography, or anything like that. Do you give yourself rules when you're creating art? No. Well, don't give yourself rules with your business. Rules in this case means stagnation. And you see it early. You're like, okay, I think this means I have to set up a website. Oh my gosh, like I don't want to don't do it. Don't set up the website. Just don't do it. Get a Cash App, okay, and start accepting payments. That's it. Just take that first step. That's it. Easy to accept payments. That's what you want. Great. Okay, how do you want to show your art? Oh my God, I hate social media. Well, don't do social media. Don't do it. Well, I like showing people in person, then focus on that. Because if you try to do something else based on some other story, you're not reinforcing the wisdom you already have. You're answering your own question. I don't want to do social media. Great, don't do it. Well, I don't know what I want to do. Well, then don't do anything until you know. That's all. Let it breathe. Give it a week, boo. Like, let it go for a week. Go on and have your Chick-fil-A. Go on and, watch your Netflix. Let it breathe until you know, like you know. Because you're confident in the wisdom you already have. And while you're out enjoying doing the other things that are very easy and smooth and effortless to you, oh, what comes swooping in? Y'all have experienced this, especially as creatives. What comes swooping in? The aha moment. Ooh, there's that one event that they have every week. Ooh, or that one restaurant. And I know somebody who said, I'm going to see if I can sell the work there. And you're going to get full body chills because it's like, oh, it's the aha. You have it already. Don't add all this tension. You're smart. You are intelligent. You do not need someone else to make you have it. You already have that. And here's another example of how you uniquely know. If I told y'all to think of something that you want to eat right now, we all think of something different. We already know. And for some of you, your answer is, I'm not hungry. Live it. Like, some of y'all eating out here when you don't want to eat. This is what I'm saying. It's like, I don't want that right now, boo. I'm good. Like, I'm good. Don't come up with some story. I must eat at noon because that's the thing we do in society. Stop. That's a game. Don't play it. Don't play it, right? This is part of being the artist. For real, y'all. I love my family. And I mean that with everything. But my parents, like, they know, like, if I feel like, will, if I don't, I don't. But was there resistance at first? Because it's just like, oh, you want to be different. I do. Actually, I like it. And as I kept reinforcing my decision, they understood. They're like, that's Electra. She does what she wants to do because I trust my decisions. They know that I teach on this stuff. They know that. They know it. But when I resigned, oh man, it was like, you're doing what? 6-figure girl? What? Youngest instructor in the history of 300 years of the commissary. Oh, 300, my bad. 100 years of the commissary? And you're going to resign? But here's the thing, because I feel it hitting me strong. I got 2 more questions. This is something I shared with my girl, April. I haven't said her name. Cat's out the bag. Y'all don't even know April, right? April is working on it, but she's a creative. She's a teacher, okay? She's not an art teacher, but she's very creative. And I'm going to lean it even further into the word creative. Creative is to constantly stay in motion. You don't belong in the roundabout. You should be changing. You should be evolving. And it feels unnatural when you're not. And that's why it hurts. That's why it's tension there. Okay. So April wants to open a school. And she is, before she even lays anything out on paper, she's coming up with reasons to not. This is the kind of stuff, y'all. First desire, I want to open up a school. That's not Electra's desire. I ain't trying to open up no school right now. That's hers. Don't stray away from what you know you want at that moment. Could it change? She could take some steps and it's like, oh, maybe it's not a school. Maybe it's like an online. Okay, so we're refining it, but she has to take steps. So she told me one of her greatest fears before she even takes some of the first steps, okay, for a school, like researching, like before she even takes the first step. One of her greatest fears is what are her coworkers going to say before she even Googled anything?
Who cares what they say?
Okay, that's easier said than understood. Okay. Wow. I know it sounds great to say, but what I teach is 100% responsibility for how we think. Mm-hmm. So she's being honest with herself initially, right? She's like, oh man, like, what are they going to think? This is the story I shared with her, very brief. This part is very brief. I told her, it's like, girl, and I reminded her about my experience. 6 figures, walked away, and happily, like, everyone embraced that. And everyone, of course, there were people like, oh my gosh, did they run you out of the job? No, nobody ran me anywhere. Like I was taking ownership, right? Nobody ran me nowhere. But those are the kind of stories they hear. And so they immediately go to some of those stories, right? So I told her that, girl, I said, girl, it has been 3.5 years since I have resigned and I love it. Have I had trials and challenges? You better believe it. But I would have still had trials and challenges while employed. Like, it's not like, like you're still going to have things that come up and you have to work through it. That's life. But I was telling her that my sister works in the agency, the commissary, right? And she's also at headquarters, 6 figures, everything, right? The same like headquarter vibes, all of that, right? Cubicles and coffee makers. So anyway, I FaceTimed my sister and she answered at her desk, shocked everything out of me because I was like, what? Like, what are you at your desk, right? And so we talked briefly and she said, hey, she said, James, which is he was my colleague, fellow instructor. She said, James is here. He wants to say hi. I was like, okay, cool. She let me talk to James. James said, man, Electra, no, okay, everybody 6 figures, like all these folks, 6 figures, high rank, all of this stuff, right? James said, man, Electra, when you resigned, I was like, what? It was such a that's how he talks. He's like, what? It was such a shock. Like everybody was like, what? We didn't expect it. And you know what he said? But we weren't really surprised. We come up with all kinds of stuff on our head, y'all, but people around us already see the gift that we got. They already see it. They know it. They know that. And I told April, I said, and this is what I'm sharing with y'all for a very good reason. I said, this is something my daddy told me. All right. Shout out to my father. He said, they're probably more surprised that you're still there. Bro, they're surprised that you're still there. All of that glow, you got all these gifts, and you still here. Huh. Don't talk yourself out of doing these things. I don't care if it's the job resign. It's about being authentic to yourself. What did I say about the guy that my guy friend? He responded cool because he was okay with that, right? I'm coming up with stuff. I already know the answer and I speak on it. You go through the drive-through next time. Do you want extra napkins? No. But I will take some sauce. Okay. It's the same energy that you tap into when you approach a gallery and you're excited about everything. And then you come to the table, you're about to sign the dotted line. And then they're like, okay, this, and this is going to cost $600 more. Feel it. $600. We didn't talk about that. It's the same confidence, y'all. It's the same. There's not like this much confidence. No, it's the decision. From the simplest example to what feels like the most complex, resigning from a job, for example, or going through the drive-through or being on this conversation. I love y'all, but if y'all, and this is how real I am with myself, if y'all have things to do, right? Like cut the camera off, step away. I encourage you to do that because I don't teach you having to listen to me. I'm teaching you to make your own decisions and be okay with it. What's Electra gonna think? What about I'm not thinking about what's going on in your head, right? You reinforce that. So before we answer the last questions here, I'm going to go back. 100% responsibility for how we're thinking and actually doing, these are the core points. Learning how to take 100% accountability, responsibility, whatever word, right? For our decisions and how to be confident in that. That's how you be confident. You make the decision. You know what you want. You know what you want. And now with training, which doesn't take but like a couple days, right? But you're training yourself to understand the thoughts that you have are 100% yours. You don't need to come up with a story. Okay, so let's take a simple one. You wake up in the morning, you're tired. Accept that you're tired. Accept it. I'm tired. Got it. Oh, man, I want to stay in bed a little bit longer. Okay, but you don't. Oh, because you quantified what longer is. Oh, You quantified longer, meaning an hour. Oh, do you need an hour? No, I just want to stay here for like 10 more seconds. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I feel better. You've honored your want. That's what I'm saying. You don't give all these reasons. You want what you want and you want it now. Some of y'all know that I've taught grade school level in the public schools. I love kids with everything, right? God willing, I'm going to have some little kitties of my own one day, okay? I love kids because they're not afraid to express what they want. They're not afraid because they don't have these previous stories of pain. They don't have previous stories of someone saying, no, you can't have that. No, you can't. They don't reference that. And I'm talking about like 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, right? They don't reference that. And most of them, if you told them no, they really don't care, okay? Because they know what they want. They want it now. I remember I was in one class, first grade class. I love doing all the neck moves like that with the kids. Like the same way I'm talking to y'all, I talk to the kids, right? So the kids, I had a kid come up to me, tap, tap, tap. And I'm looking at the child. And I said, I'm looking at you. And like, huh? And I said, I'm looking at you. I said, you already have my attention. I said, why are you tapping me when I'm looking at you? And like, they don't care. And that's what and I say that with love. They're not trying to consider something else. They know what they want. And I know we can get much deeper with like the trials of life and the pains and the wounds, but we're not going to do that. Focus on what it is that you want. And you have to be vocal. In some cases, you do have to be vocal. People can't read your mind. All right. And kids don't be playing. That same class, for example, I had like 3 kids keep walking up to me and tap me. And I'm like, boo, this is what I would do. I would take my finger and I would tap their shoulder. I'm like, you don't have to tap me, tap, 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 tap. And I would make a game out of it and they start laughing. So now they understand how I feel, right? Like, like they understand. Don't tap, don't tap Miss Electra. Don't tap me. I'm looking at, so I had to train them. I'm looking at you. So you have my attention now, right? But I love kids because they know they are not referencing something. And as we get into, you get more mature, more developed, all of that. Doesn't matter the age, right? But the referencing will keep growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. What do you want right now? But you have to really know what you want. Y'all know, I've been looking at these questions, right? Okay, 2 more questions. What are some reasons why people gatekeep? And is there ever a necessary time to gatekeep? So I'm going to use gatekeep in this question or the definition for gatekeep I'm going to use prevent. So like preventing. And so I'll ask it differently. What are some reasons why people would perhaps prevent an opportunity? And is there ever a necessary time to prevent someone from obtaining an opportunity? That if that is the situation where someone truly feels like somebody else is preventing them, understand that what's for you is not with them. All right. If you see a situation that you are being prevented from, it's for your own good. You don't need to work towards that because you've already gotten an early introduction to how they run business. So there's no need to like climb the fence here. They've already built the fence and the fence is for you. And that's a good thing. You don't belong there. Go do your own thing. I don't like, if you truly believe in your decisions, you're not going to look at this as a hindrance. This is helpful. Great. This redirects me. Ooh, this is good. I like how that's like a plot twist in my life story. I'm going to go that way now. Right? Like we're not going to dwell on that because that creates stress. And then dwell on it so much that you no longer move. You're going to stop right here and be upset. Like now you're putting a label on that situation, but you don't even know what came with that label, what happened there. And it's not your job. It's out your pay grade to try to figure that out. It's just like a person, like you approach somebody and you're like, hey, he was kind of cute. And they don't send the vibe back. don't try to force it. Don't get mad. Like, you don't know what's in, and I say that with love. You don't know what's going on in their world right now. And if they're honest and they tell you early, I would say thanks. You know, I'd be like, cool. I appreciate that. I mean, it's nice for people to like vocalize it, but sometimes people don't, and they are going through whatever they're going through, and it's all good. You gotta like linger, right? So, what are some reasons? You know, there's that's the gist of what I had to respond with as far as like their reason. We don't really honestly know, but I can say your reason for being prevented, or what feels like a prevention, is really just redirection. Like, just go that way. You know how you're driving, and then you see the sign that says detour. Do you keep driving towards the detour or towards the sign? No, you just move. You just move somewhere else. You just go so you can stay in motion. Is there ever a necessary time to say prevent something? I don't believe there is. I mean, yeah, I am opening up the floor for that. I don't think there's a time to withhold. And again, if you know factually, in which we, unless we're in that person's head, we don't actually know why certain people make decisions. If someone, I believe, if someone is preventing, then they're on defense for some particular reason. But I don't think there's ever a time to just create a block, just because. And again, I want to say this respectfully, because we don't actually, do we really know why that particular standard was created? So I'm thinking of this, and I'm gonna go ahead and share it. So I used to, this is why I said, y'all, we are multifaceted beings. So I used to be a real estate agent. Okay. And yeah, I know, like the 80 sides of Electra, right? So I used to be a real estate agent, and I remember going to different which I do have a passion for real estate. I'm not doing nothing with it. I just love the idea of real estate. I love the idea of owning it more than doing anything else, right? Like, just give me all the real estate, right? Anyway, but I used to be a real estate agent, and I was going to different brokerages, right? And trying to find a broker I wanted to work with. And I went to I think it's ERA, whatever, but I say ERA. Anyway, it's a particular agency. And I spoke to this Black man, older Black man, I'd say at that time, maybe in his like late 60s or so. And he told me that he wants his face to be on his business cards, because if people don't want to do business with a Black man, they need to know early. That is him being truthful to himself, because he knows that he does not want, he has experienced something where he showed up and his race was an issue. He's being true to why he does what he does, and he's okay with sharing that. It's not about me disagreeing or whatever, agreeing. I'm using that scenario because, and I'm linking it to the being seen part. If when we make decisions, we have to be okay with us first for why we made that decision. When you are 100% okay, 100% accountable for your decisions, that is once again enhancing your confidence. You are no longer gatekeeping yourself. You changed the game by doing that. 100% accountability. So let's just say in his scenario, he's like, well, I don't want to show my face, right? He was like, he just whipped that one out. Like, I didn't ask, like, he just shared that. But if someone else asked, and based on the conversation I had with this man, he was living his best life. Like, he's very, very direct and very honest. And that's why we love these parts and pieces of people where they do express themselves. I did a story post, story post or brief. And I said, I know this is so random. I said, but I hope to meet Cardi B one day. For those that don't know Cardi B, she's rapper and everything else that she decides to be. Okay. because she has a certain level of confidence, right? Where she is not considering everything somebody else is thinking. We can appreciate a child who's very expressive. We can appreciate seniors because they are at a point that they're like, I don't care. Like, I don't care. I'm gonna go to sleep right here because they're listening to their body and they know what they want right then, right now. So are you all of the above, none of the above? Within, you're all of the above. You have it in you. You already know what you want. Anyway, I don't think so. Yeah. Anyone who is establishing something for how can I say, with the idea of defense, gatekeeping in that way, they're doing themselves a disservice from within. That's why you see some people, and I have seen people in these higher positions who make a great amount of money, 7 figures, corporate type of jobs, but they literally look drained of all life because they've been conforming, and not just conforming to like the outside. No, they're conforming their natural state. And that's why I was like, oh, they're soulless, or they don't, because there's nothing moving. Their natural essence of their life is not moving through them, and it needs to, like, for their own health. And it's not like they have to do it at work. They can do it at any time, anywhere outside of work. And while they're at work, they're honest. Y'all, I told y'all, like, I made over $100,000. I'm hanging out with all the high rankers and all that too, but I cannot tell you how many of them are so miserable, y'all. Like, miserable. And it's mainly because they're not being honest with themselves first, and then speaking that. They put up with the BS from this person and that person, but it starts with them. They're deciding to do it, but they're not taking ownership of that. And that's the little game, as Vanessa had pointed out. It's the ping pong within. There is no 2 sides to your thoughts. You only have one thought. One. I love the little balloons. How can I do that again? You only have one stream of thought. Take ownership for how you think. I told y'all about my other client, artist, and she's like, Electra, tell me what to do. I said, no. And guess what? She ended up answering her own question. Don't get me started. Y'all know the answer. All right, here's the next question, and we do have one more after this. And I'll open up the floor if y'all want to ask anything else here. How do we effectively approach and connect with corporate entities like hotel? Oh, look, good. The hotel one comes up a lot. Like hotels and other public places in order to share, show, and sell our art. How do you further and maintain partner relationships after the project has been completed? All right, so let's look at the first part of this. How do right? How do I effectively approach and connect with corporate entities like hotels? Let me stop right there because it's a bit lengthy. So, and we're breaking this down. How do I approach hotels? Right? We're simplifying that question. That's the first part. How do I approach hotels? What is effectively? That's for you to define. What's effective for you? Electra is not the holder of what works best for you. So we have to look at that question and say, what feels smooth? What feels easy? I gave that example about the hotels because it comes up a lot, right? So I would decide, what kind of hotel? Are we just trying to get into Motel 6? Or are we trying to go for the gusto at the Hyatt somewhere, or whatever these places are? Are we trying to go to Vegas with it? You know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of hotels? And does it even have to be a hotel? It looks like it doesn't, based on the rest of the question. It says, and other public places in order to share, show, and sell our art. So this is where it's a risk taker. what I believe, and I'm sharing based on my own experiences, you go out and you make it happen. If it's critical, this is where some artists get really caught up. If it's critical, if your desire for fulfillment is to share your artwork in a public place, you focus on that and you don't focus on sales yet. I'm gonna say that again, because that might be a little deep, okay? If your core desire is to share your work, you do it now. You post it, you go out there, you make it happen. You just go find places. And yes, you do it for free. Do it for free. If your core desire to share it is primary, it's so critical that you do it. If you keep playing the game of like, I need to make money, I need to make that sale first, I need to lock down a contract, that feels like a lot right now. But what would feel really good is for you to share it. And you're like, okay, wait, hold on. That's too much to ask right now. Like, I don't think I want to go to any public place right now and start, saying I'm going to share my work for free. Then don't. Share it with your immediate circle. Start with that. Start with that. Yeah, I just want to show this to you. Oh, make it a conversation. This thing took me like 2 hours to make, and boom, there it is. Like, just talk about it. Maybe that's the energy you want. You want your work to be a conversation. Start with that. So again, we have to refine what the real desire is. Keep refining, keep refining. How do you refine? You ask the 5 W's: where, what, who, when, why, and how. 5 W's and how. When you are refining all of that, and you come to a place where you don't know, there's something in there you don't know, then you chill the F out until you know. That's all. That's all. Chill out. But this is such a problem with visual artists that they create. Again, it's not a problem meaning stressful, intense. It's something being shown to you. The etymology of the word problem comes from the Latin word problema, which means to present. That's all problem means. Something's being presented to you for you to look at. You don't really have stressful problems. You just aren't looking at certain things. I didn't say that. I didn't come up with that. Look it up. It's out there. The etymology of the word problem, right? So ask yourself those 5 W's and then how. If there's something in there that you can't just do right now, then once again, I'm saying it again, so it sticks. Leave it alone until you actually know. If you just want to share your work, I encourage anyone to start sharing. I use myself, y'all. I'm not talking about stuff that I don't know, right? It's impossible for me to do that. I started Dream Aloud Art. There was no RTA. I started it because I just wanted to talk about artists, y'all. I didn't have any pay system. I way of receiving money. I didn't have a freaking clue. Okay, none. I just wanted to talk. I just wanted to talk about artists specifically. So I'm like, oh my God, yo, this artwork is fire. I had to. The desire to express came first, and I'll figure out whatever else when I know. But until then, the first core desire, and it sounds like the core desire here is to share, show, and of course, sell. But the first thing that came is share. The first thing. You know what I would do? Right? But y'all have to take 100% ownership of your thoughts. This isn't about what Electra made you do. I'm telling you what I personally would do. I would go to a hotel that I think is a good partner for my art. Okay. Not any hotel, right? There's a lot of hotels that don't belong for you and your path. I would go to a hotel and I just like, hi, how are you doing? Is it possible for me to speak to a manager? Look like, you took a shower, right? You gotta look. Yeah, I mean, I would probably wear this shirt, but look nice. Just go over there. Hey, how you doing? Oh, can I speak to the general manager? Oh, the general manager is not available. Oh, is there someone that I can talk to? Because I'm a talker. I'm leaning into my natural gift. My natural gift. I'm not going to do something that doesn't feel fun to me. I want to love it. Just like when y'all are creating, you want to love that process. Well, I want to love how I'm connecting with folks, right? So, and I'm so blessed to lean further into that gift of talking, the gift of gab, if you will, because I will literally go up in places and people tell me word for word. They say, you talk like you own this place, because I own myself and my decisions, which is confidence coming out. That's I'm trying to reinforce this for y'all. It's your decision-making process, self-worth, it's all the same, okay? And being confident in that. So I would go to the hotel, ask to speak to the general manager. They're not available. Aw, for real? Like this, I'm sorry, y'all. This is just how I talk. For real? Dang. What about the sales manager? Are they available? Well, yeah, you can speak to the sales manager. And I'm like, what's your name? They tell me their name. Ooh, I like that name. That's nice. And then somebody else, whoever else is at the desk, oh, that's cool too. And like, someone may ask, well, why are you here? Oh, I'm an artist. Say that with confidence. I'm an artist. For real? What you do? Oh, I paint watercolor. Look, I have some pictures. Sharing. That excites me. Like, I'm not worried about what they think because I have identified what excites me. I'm not here to try to figure it out. And I kid you not, I'm so encouraging y'all to lean more into those things that you know innately what you want, not the general want, the real essence of what you desire. When you lean into that, you're creating the vibe. You're creating the vibe, and people pick up on it. That's how people know that you're confident. It's in your face, it's in your hands, it's in your voice. It takes practice, y'all. And they're like, that's why people will be like, I went to the gym, and I'm not giving my life scenario to place me above or below. I'm giving you examples. This is my experience. That's why when I go to the gym, I went to the gym the other day. 3 people told me, you're a whole vibe. Arrange that. They're like, you nice. I'm like, you nice, boo. I call people boo. Okay, so, but I love to talk to people. I've leaned into it. And it's like, you know what? Yep, I'm a vibe. You're a vibe. We could do this all day. Vibes, back and forth. I just have fun with it because I'm leaning into I love to talk, right? So that example that I used may not fit you. And that's important that you know that. I don't ever want you. And I love my artists, y'all, but it pains me when artists think they need to talk like me. God, please don't talk like me. Don't get a mic. Don't do, if you don't want to do it. I want you to be happy. I want you to be thrilled, and like, so it's like, y'all, like a comment, oh, I can't talk, like, please don't. So I just gave the example of what I would do because I'm leaning into what I want to do. And so I encourage you to, if you rather send an email, you better send that email with your chest. You know what I'm saying? Work that email out, get it all perfect, and send it. That's okay too, because you're being true to yourself. And this is why I dabbled into the consultation aspect of working with an artist in person. And I say dabbled, and I really mean that, because it takes a lot of time and energy to work one-on-one with an artist in person and be with them when they're selling their work. But I will say this, I did it once, and I'm kind of going to do it a little. I'm still deciding right now. But I did it one time and I absolutely loved it. And that artist made a sufficient amount of money because we were both working together. It wasn't about Electra does this while the artist does something completely different. We got on the same page for what we're going to do, that both things we want to do, and we brought it together. And it was all vibes. She felt, this is the same artist who was like, Electra, just tell me what to do. She felt so good that night because she knew what she was going to be doing was exactly what she wanted. She's not trying to package it. I told her, I was like, how do you want to receive payment? She's like, I actually don't want to fool with payment. Great. We know that now. Electra will do the payments. See what I'm saying? The core desires, we have to identify what that is. How do you identify it? The 5 W's. And how? Why am I asking? Why am I saying that? What do I mean by that? What do I mean by hotels? Is there a specific hotel? Is there something I've seen on Instagram that looked like this artist was very successful and they had something about hotels and I'm looking at that like that's the destination? Is it your destination? Actually, I don't really want to fool with that. Oh, you came to that conclusion. You see what I'm saying? You are smart, y'all. Y'all are so intelligent. I had the conversation I shared with y'all. I was speaking with a friend before our call today. Within 3 minutes, she at the start of she started just talking about an issue she had going on. Okay. And then she said, well, I'm just wondering what you think I should say. And then she kept talking, and then she paused. And then I said, so you're wondering what I would say? And then she's like, I mean, not really. I could do A, da 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 da, and I could talk to him, like we could walk outside and talk about it, or I could do B. So yeah, I think I'm good. And I said, did you catch? She said, what? I said, you literally asked me what I would do, and you came to your own conclusion. Her whole body changed in 3 minutes. Her posture is what I'm saying. At first, she's like, "Da, da, da, da." Y'all have experienced that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You get it out, you're, and it's like, huh. Or I could just do blah, 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 blah. And then she relaxed. She didn't even realize that she asked me. She didn't even realize that in the midst of her talking, she asked me, I'm just wondering what you would do. Because she got in a zone. She asked the question. Something was presented to her, which is the problem. She asked the question. She's literally having a conversation in her own thoughts. And she answered it. This is the stuff, y'all. That's how you become confident. You know what you want and you know it. Like you know it. You can't desire something you haven't experienced before. It's impossible. I tell artists all the time, okay, you know what? We're going to experiment right now. In the comments, for those that are close to the keyboard, in the comments, I'm going to ask that you type as we close out, because we do have one more question and I'll open the floor. In the comments, I'm going to ask for you to type out 3 things or less or more, it doesn't matter for this exercise. 3 things that you admire about me. Please, in the comments. It's for a good reason. I'll just wait a second. I don't need like a ton of, like a whole lot or anything. What do you admire? What do you admire about me? Electra is fill in the blank. Let's my chin rest a little bit there. Let me do some stretches. Your girl, look, I'm trying to make sure y'all still can't identify my age. Woo, woo. I keep it tight, keep the face tight. All right, I have a couple here. All right. Okay, Robin says, and I'm doing this in a sentence format for a reason. Okay. Electra is honest and encouraging. Okay, is that the only? I'm gonna give a couple more seconds just in case, because I'm about to do the exercise. Okay, that's fine. We can run with this. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. We have one more. Okay. Electra's confident, and I'll just say you admire my work ethic. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to start. Robin, You are honest and encouraging. You can't identify something you have no knowledge of. Okay. Vanessa, you are confident, and I admire your work ethic. You can't identify something you have no knowledge of. Okay. I tell artists this, been saying it for years. You cannot look at me and be able to identify something you don't already have knowledge of. You're referencing an experience. You know what that's like. If you deem whatever your definition of confidence is, it's just hanging out in your head right now. You just have to follow through. Your expression will always look different than anyone else's. How can it look the same? I've had artists say, man, I want to get a platform just like Dream Out Art. Do it. I don't have there's no competition in that. Follow through because you're going to attract the people that vibe with you. And that's important. That's like saying, you have a platform, but I don't want to impede on what? Like, there's that's like saying, I want to start a plumbing business, but I don't want to interfere with Juma. Like it's complete, it's your own thing. Impossible for you to impede on someone else's space. It's in your head or their head, like the previous question about gatekeeping. What are we preventing ourselves for? Just getting more reasons to create anxiety and tension because we're used to that in our mind first. And then it just goes all throughout our body. You've got cramps you can't explain, or you have headaches and you don't know where they're coming from. You can stay hydrated and everything. You wonder, what's the kind of headache though? I got 8 hours of sleep. My job is good. Fam is good. Where is that coming from? You created it. Okay. So the very last question we have here, it's a little unique because they ask, are there any artist grants I should know about? Okay. So refining the question, I want to know because we're taking ownership for how we think. Not we or some or they or some people, I want to know about grants. Electra can't tell you what the best grant is because I don't know what you're trying to do here. I'm not walking in your path. So the first part here, I want to know about grants. What kind of grants? What are you trying to do with the grant? I'm keeping it 100 with y'all. This is usually when it comes to one-on-one consultations, this is where the artist now pauses. They haven't paused yet. And I ask, what do you want the grant for? I don't know. Okay, well, put that down. What have we learned, right? Put it down until you know. And don't stress. It's just like, I want followers. And then we'll stay right there and say, I want them, but you don't. Is that really what you want? And if you had them, what are you going to do with it? Like, ask the 5 W's and the how until you get to an I don't know. If you come to an I don't know, then you leave it alone. We don't need any more of the drama. In conjunction with that, when you're creating, right? And you're flowing and you're with it. Like, oh, I live for the moment. Or you take your pictures and you're like, this is a vibe. I love it. I'm so good at this. Y'all know I'm referencing my own vibe, right? Like when I'm creating something, I'm like, she did that, right? You're excited, right? Until you're tired. You're like, yo, I'm hungry. And then you stop. So that's the same thing I'm talking about here. You know what you want until you reach that point where you're like, actually, let me put this down. That's healthy. So this desire, for example, not this question, but the equivalent of wanting something actually, yes, the question, it's super general. And the revisit of no current solution, but we can't get a solution because it's so general. That's a repetition of stress in our mind. So again, and I am repeating these points so it can solidify in you. I don't really agree with trying to give like some 12-week course that takes forever. No, you need to get in practice now. You know what I'm saying? This is y'all know that y'all need some changes real fast, right? So it's not about me dragging points out. I'm repeating the same thing so it solidifies. I want this thing. Get specific. Who, what, where, when, why, how. You know a few of the things, and then you're like, well, that part I'm not sure. Okay, great. Let it breathe. Also, taking action, speaking on it. You're following through with the thought. You're taking the thought and you're acting it out now. You want to leave the room, leave the room. You want to put a jacket on because it's cold, put the jacket on. You want to take it off because you're hot, take it off. These simple things are solidifying the confidence that you need. And then when you ask this question about how do I make sales, you're used to being confident and knowing the answer because you know what you want. Do I need to make sales right now? What's the thing that needs to happen right now? Not 10 years later or 10 years. Yeah, not 10 years later, not 10 years ago. What needs to happen right now? I need to share my work. Share it. Do it right now. Right now. Do I need to do it in person? No. Do I need, or we'll say yes, I need to do it in person. Do I feel like going anywhere today? No. Then don't. Like this, don't, there is no back and forth. You only have one thought process. One thought. There's no, no. And I'll go a step further that if you reference a story from the past or come up with something for the future, once again, it's because you already know you did or didn't want to do it. You already knew that, but now we're going to attach other elements that disempower us and allow us to not own our thoughts, right? So it's like, oh, I enjoy going to the theme park. We'll use something that feels positive. I enjoy going to the theme park because that one time that so-and-so took me, and when they took me, like, I enjoyed that. There's no need, no, you already knew that you enjoyed that. So that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter how you package it. If you attach all these other reasons, but the core is that you liked it. The core is that you didn't like it. You already know that. Electra, should I create a website? Do you want a website? I mean, I do, but I want it to be easy. Okay, well, they have easy templates. This is a conversation I had with an artist. They do? I said, yeah. Oh, just look it up. Easy website design. She's like, oh, okay. She's like, well, I mean, but wouldn't I have to like make a bunch of like pages? I said, no, you could just have one page. You.com. I never thought about it like that. Okay. Do you still want a website? Well, yeah, okay. Notice it ain't me. I'm not not gonna do that because that disempowers you and it keeps you in the cycle. The roundabout, what we talked about. I don't want that for y'all. I love people. I love artists, but I love people. I don't ever want to see somebody get caught up in that the roundabout. Not on my watch. However, it's a practice you have to keep getting into. Does anyone, and if you don't have any, well, first, do you have any questions? Because we're going to do a practice. If you're open to it, then we'll do a practice where you can just get in stride with your decision-making process. Does anyone have any questions before I just go ahead and get into the exercise? You can type it out if you don't want to say anything. I'm just giving a minute. It's all good. Moment here for y'all to either come back to the screen or put your sandwich down. Put Netflix on mute. No questions? Okay, if a question pops up in the chat, then I will look at it. Let me see something real quick. Chat. Okay. Okay, so yeah, if something pops up, it's all good. But I am going to say this just for the recording's sake. Excuse me. And I'm going to go ahead and say this too. I'm going to send I mean, it's easy to remember, but I just have to make sure that it's published. But I will have the website for my consultation, not consultations, because I'm not scheduling any consultations right now. But if you want to send a thank you note of gratitude, or if you want to give me a tip, I am open to either one. I don't place more weight on one over the other. I don't care about that. I really don't. Because it's important. This is reinforcing what I teach. It's important for me to talk to you first. I have an innate desire to help you first. I am not I'm grateful, but I don't lean on what you provide to add to my own personal value. Right? I enjoy what I do. I love what I do. So please do not feel like Electra's going to feel some kind of, I don't have time to wrap stories, right, around it. So please don't worry about that. But I am going to remind you, I'll just go ahead and put it in here too. I am Electra.com. And I should have that published like once we get off of the call. So I am going to, once again, y'all, if you do have a question, go ahead and ask. I will also add that if you still have a question, go to iamelectra.com and send another question. And then I do want to have another talk next Sunday. It may, I think I'll stick to 2 to 4 and give some leeway towards the end. So anyway, so there's that. And look, ain't nothing better than a simple landing page. I don't like complex websites, okay? Like, oh my gosh. But anyway, so to solidify, or not solidify, but to practice, and this, again, it may be more so for the replay for later if you want to watch this video later. But to practice your decision-making process, so I'm trying to think of an example real quick. It'd be nice if y'all participated. Jeez. Now I got to come up with something. Let's see.
Okay, I have a question.
Oh, okay. Yes. I like questions.
Okay. When it comes to reels, do you think it's good to make like a series? Because right now I'm having like kind of a hard time making reels.
Why do you want to, or what do you feel making a reel gets you? What are you trying to get from making reels?
Engagement.
Okay. So you want engagement. How do you want engagement? Like, what's the smoothest way for you? What feels exciting when you receive a certain kind of engagement? Like, what does that look like? I know we're getting specific. So like, okay, simple. You open up Instagram, you get notifications. What is the first kind of notification that you love to get? Comments, DMs, likes, be specific.
Likes, comments.
Okay. Likes and comments. So do you want people to necessarily respond in that way that they like your work through Instagram? Is that where you have like the largest audience? Like why does it have to be Instagram?
No, to be honest, it's more on YouTube.
Oh, well, look at that. I didn't know you had a YouTube.
Yes.
So you'd rather have engagement on YouTube.
Right.
Okay, so this is good.
Right. Well,
This
I
is the
mean,
process.
well, on it is on Instagram, but like right
Okay.
now I'm not getting as much engagement as I would like on
On
Instagram.
Instagram.
Right.
What happens when you blow up with engagement? What happens then? So now you get all this engagement, everybody's freaking out, your artwork has gone nuts on the internet. I've been there before, so I know.
Right.
But what about you? If it goes ham, do people still say ham harder than a mother? I don't, whatever. If it goes nuts on the internet, right?
Yeah.
What now? You've gone viral. What now? What's the next want? I think that's what I'm asking here. It's okay to pause. Let me say that. If you, I don't want to add any stress to it, but this is what I was saying earlier. Once you reach the I don't know, you got to let it go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you don't know, it's okay. You've at least gotten to that point where you just don't know. You're like,
Yeah,
and to be honest with you, I need to write this down too. Okay. The point, okay, of I don't know means let it go. Because the only thing that matters is that you do know.
Mhm.
That's it. Don't even worry about all the details, the who, what, where, when, how. But it is something to look at. So I go much deeper, and I don't know if you're ready for all that right now. Okay. Because it's not about art. It never is. There is something possibly
Mhm.
that you are seeking. Engagement, not on Instagram.
Mhm.
Likes, it's not on Instagram.
Mhm.
Interaction, it's not Instagram. It's not YouTube. It's not anything outside of Vanessa. I'm going to go a little deep, okay? Or even
Go
more
ahead.
deep.
Go ahead.
It's self.
Right. Right.
It's recognizing. I know this might rock y'all a bit and good because I don't want you to stay in the roundabout, right?
Mhm.
It's engagement with self. What do you want? And you are projecting it as though you need these tools to give you something. You don't need those tools to give you anything. That engagement, it is with your thoughts. You need to pay attention. I told y'all, problems are a presentation. I'm having a problem with Instagram. No, there's something that you need to look at. You cannot identify something as anything without knowing what that experience is like first. You're referencing a strong chance. This is a strong chance because I'm not walking in your shoes, but there is a strong chance that you're referencing Instagram as a problem and you only identify it as a problem because that's through your lens. Let me say it differently. Electra doesn't look at Instagram like a problem. I don't see it that, but why do you? We're looking through one lens, one train of thought.
That's because you show up every day.
What? Wait, for what?
I said that's because you show up every day.
What do you mean?
You're being consistent every day with Instagram.
Daily?
Yeah.
I don't. How did you figure that out? You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't. It's the story, and I say this with love, right? Like I'm being as honest as I can possibly be because that's freedom for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's the story you're coming up with.
Mm-hmm.
I am not on Instagram every day. You know when I'm on Instagram? When I feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
When artists ask me how often should I post? When do you want to post, boo? Because when you want to post is when you maximize your result. I know, flipping it on its head. It's true. If you keep pushing and pushing and pushing, I've done this, y'all. I've done the daily. I've done it all. I've had success on the virals. I've gone viral over 50 times. I've had celebrities. I get it, but it was exhausting because I kept going against what I knew I wanted to do. And that was not to be on there all that much.
Right.
And when I started Dream Aloud Art, y'all, I post whenever I felt like it. And
right.
every time I got a comment, every time I got an engagement, I created the vibe from the jump. And so everything that occurred after that, not in numbers, in quality. I was showing up the way I wanted to, when I wanted to. And now that one follower became 2, became 3, became 4. I remember when I hit 25 followers, it was like I was on drugs, like high is what I'm saying. It was like, oh my God, 25 people who love what I have shown because I'm showing up as me when I feel like it. I'm not following those. That's why y'all love being artists, because there are no rules here from the external. You've given yourself full blown. I know some of these words are cliche, but it's true. You've given yourself full blown permission, but I don't advocate for just giving yourself permission.
Right.
I advocate for you to know what you want, because you already, y'all when you wired up, already wired up. You already know what you want. And in this case, I say this respectfully, you are saying that YouTube is a problem for me right now, or whatever. Instagram is a problem. I need more engagement. You do realize that people get on Instagram for different reasons. So not everyone is on Instagram for engagement. Not everyone is on Instagram for likes. Not everyone is on Instagram for comments. But why do you want those things? You see what I'm saying? Mirror. There's a mirror happening here. It is not that. It is a chance, problem not meaning stress or issue. It's a chance for you to look at something being presented to you. And it's a chance for you to fix that. And that's all we're talking about today. There's no, and let me fix the verbiage. It's a chance for you to address it. Nothing here needs to be fixed. We're not taking hammers and working us. No, you don't have divided thoughts of this and that. No. Example. I've given y'all more examples than I have the principle, because the principle is still the same. One thought process. There's no like one, and take ownership for that. I have a friend, we were having a conversation, and I pay attention. When I listen to people, I listen for everything. I hear their breathing. I hear the pauses between their words. I hear the arrangement of the words. Like, I hear it all. I really tune in. And she was freaking out. The cabinet broke and da 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 da. And at the beginning of the conversation, as soon as she opened her mouth, she's panting. This, that. Her heart's racing. She's already in fight or flight mode.
Oh
And
my
I asked her,
goodness.
like, girl, are you okay? And she's like, I'm just saying the cabinet broke and blah, 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 blah. And or cabinet door broke. But if I look at the cabinet door, I'm not stressed. When she looks at the cabinet door, she is. The cabinet door didn't do anything to you.
Right.
You're coming up with the story. You're giving it, you're
it's
referencing, and this is the game, okay? You're referencing the outer experience to dictate toward you how you should feel. Stop. That's a whole game. You look at it and you decide what you want to call that thing. So I told her, I gave her the same, like, hey, a problem is just a presentation. The cabinet is broken. You haven't been paying attention to it. Take ownership in this case, right? You haven't been paying attention to the cabinet. Do you want to fix it? Do you want to fix it now? She's got, her husband who helps her, of course, around the house. And I said, do you want your husband to fix it? Do you want to wait till he comes home? You see, like, oh, now she's starting to be more relaxed. Leave it. If you leave it right there, will he be upset when he comes home from work? No. Great. Why are we stressed? You know what I'm saying? This is but what do you want? Whenever we have a problem placed in front of us, we can decide how we are going to look at that. What do we say about preventing, right? The gatekeeping and preventing. Is it preventing me as though it's attacking me? Or am I looking at this thing like, we just don't go this way? It's okay. We're just going to go around, go the other way. It's not Instagram that you need to look at. You have to ask yourself, what is the core desire here? What do I really want? If you just want people to comment or you want engagement, then ask yourself, in what way do I want engagement? Do I just want to talk to people? Look, this is what I told one of my friends, and she was cracking up. She's an artist. And so I told her, I said, girl, sometimes you just be like, oh, I want a hug. I want somebody to hug me. And then it's like, but what can I get right now? I can get a blanket and throw it around me. Do it. Like, it's like, what do you want? Do you just want to be warmer in the moment? You know, and taking ownership for our thoughts.
Right.
So maybe in that moment you did want a hug. Can you get a hug from somebody right now? No. Can I get a hug tomorrow when I go to work? Yeah. And let it go. You can't get it right now. Let it. You don't know what it is right now. Let it go. But we're here to talk about 100% ownership for how we think and what we want. How do we know what we want? You have to figure that out. How do you figure it out? Go through the 5 W's and the how. Once you come to a place where you just don't know, let it breathe, let it go. Artists, I want these followers. What are you going to do with the followers? Why do you want them so bad? What are you going to do? What are you doing with the ones you have? Y'all hear me say that all the time. Well, I don't know. Well, then let it go until you know what you really want here. I want a new car. Well, why do you want a new car? Well, I mean, I'd be glad if the one I had was fixed. Okay, great. You want to go car shopping? No. Okay, well then what are we talking about? Let it go. I want to leave my job so I can be a full-time artist. Okay, how do you want to do that? I'm not sure. Okay, we'll let it breathe for now. What is the core desire? And then I just want to take a break. Okay, cool. You want to go on vacation? See, it's not 2 thoughts. That's all just one thought. Right? I don't need a person outside of me to have that conversation with. I can have that conversation right now and come to my own conclusion. So, okay, all right, I don't want to quit my job today, but do I need a break? Yeah, man, I need a whole break and a half. Okay, so, yeah, my boss is pretty cool with me taking time off. Okay, cool. I'm going to take time off. I'm just going to go home and I'm just going to create art. And I'm going to order some Filipino food and I'm going to watch some Marvel movie, call up some friends, hang out, and just chill. And then you're renewed. You go back to work with a whole energy because you're taking ownership for what you want because you know what you want and you want it now. And I'm doing a recap of everything we talked about here. So when those bigger decisions come up, it's easy. I love the NBA. And one of these days I'm going to see a basketball game in person. I already know what I want, right? I want front row, all my feet to be on the same floor that the basketball players are on. Okay. Because I know what I want. Okay. But I love the NBA. The players do not wait until the championship games to practice. Like they don't wait the night before. They do it all the time. They treat every time they practice like it is the game, like it's the championship. So it's the same thing, y'all. Same thing. You do it now. You do it now. You become more confident by trusting your thoughts, that your thoughts are yours. They're not anyone else. They're your thoughts. And you know what you want. When you refine what it is that immediately comes to mind that you want. Some of y'all don't like AI. I know it's a thing. Y'all made it a thing. It's not a thing to me. It's a thing for me to use. AI doesn't run me. AI doesn't tell me what to do. I tell it what to do. I don't know if you're familiar with Chat GPT, but it's AI search thing, whatever. I don't call it Chat GPT. I gave it a name. Instagram, call it something else. Make it work for you. When you realize that Everything is really lined up for you, not against you. You think it's against you. It's not your enemy. I use chat. Look, I'll use the chat GPT. I call it AI boo. AI is my boo. I tell it what to do. I wouldn't do that to a person. It's a search engine thing. So you have to talk to it, right? But if I don't know, like if I have a craving for something salty and crunchy, I'll just ask AI, what are five things that are salty and crunchy? I pulled up 5 things that are salty and crunchy. Salsa, chicken. And then I'm like, I'll have chicken. I think I'll go get some chicken. You see what I'm saying? I innately know exactly what I want. I just didn't know all the details. Make it work for you. What I want from Instagram. Number one, I'm not on it every day. I don't want to be on any kind of tool and feel as though it's a job. Like, forget that. I did used to show up every day. That was stressful. So I stopped it. And then I learned that I just made that up in my head that I had to be on there every day. Or I saw some other influencer who said, daily is the way. No, consistency. And that's what I teach. I show up consistently. It just looks different. Consistency. Does that mean every day? Oh, but if I told you consistency means showing up 3 times a day or 5 times, who decides that? Me. I'm giving you different examples, y'all. Take ownership for how you think. You don't have problems, you have presentations. You're being shown something you need to look at. Whatever you identify as an issue, for example, right? Or even if you identify things as positive, you're able to identify that. That's you. Those are traits that you have knowledge of that you're referencing. Oh, Electra, you're so honest. Right, because you are. Oh man, you're so awesome and amazing. Right, because you are. You're referencing an energy and experience. It's not just the word. You're referencing an energy and an experience. And you've taken that and you've put it on me. What is this? I'm holding it like this for a reason. It looks like a pink stick. You turn it that way, it's a pink square. We all look at things from different angles, at different points, at different places. What is it to you? What is it to you? All right, so we've gone a little deep today, becoming a game changer. Realizing that you're a game changer. The topic may take a different tone. I may stay consistent with more so learning how to hone in on your confidence, making decisions. I may need to be very clear about that, taking 100%, and I probably need to refine that for my own sanity because I don't like saying a bunch of words to describe something. So I'm going to have to refine that. Excuse me. So it is how to be more confident, but the core of being confident is trusting your decisions. Confide, the etymology of confidence is confide, which means have or with faith. With faith, you have to trust. Faith, translation, trust. I mean, those 2 words are used in the etymology of the word, but you have to trust yourself. If you lean on, you have a deeper, path, deeper, more meaningful path, then I say stick with that. But even just the basics of everyday life, you have to trust your own thoughts. When you're referencing experiences, or excuse me, when you start picturing something that happened yesteryear, or you start picturing something that will happen in the future, you're just referencing an experience that you're creating. That's all. You're just referencing that. So once again, y'all, once we get off, I'm going to publish the iamelectra.com. And if you will send a note of gratitude or even a comment or something right here, I would appreciate it. I appreciate your time. I want to remind you that I wanted to do this. And so I am so glad to do it. Y'all have taught me a lot. I'm continuing to grow and thrive. But if you do want to send a note, which is an email, you go to Electra or iamelectra.com and send an email. There's just a button to send an email, and something that you may have learned from this talk. Or if you want to give a tip of any amount, it doesn't matter. It's perfectly fine, because some folks don't really know what to say, but they do want to express some kind of gratitude. All of it is received. All of it is welcomed. And what is fulfilling for me is that you got something from this talk. That is important for me. So I am going to make sure to have something sent out. It may be via the phone numbers that you provided. So it may be a text message community, or it may be your emails. But I currently plan on having another talk next Sunday. So it just, life is life, things depend, but I can plan and just say that right now. I do plan on having another talk. Come with your questions. Again, you will get a notification and register for the talk. It may not be registration just yet, or it may or may not. It depends. But I do look forward to talking with y'all. Okay. Appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Take care.